Well, thanks once again for being here. I have a couple folks to introduce this evening. Chris Butler is a musician, songwriter, writer, and of course, a wicked storyteller. He is best known, for leading the 80s new wave band, The Waitresses. Let's just pause and have a round of applause for it. I'll tell you, I'm so excited. I didn't realize that Chris Butler was not an uncommon name, I guess, and I didn't realize he was that Chris Butler until I got his bio last night, and I realized, oh my gosh, it's that Chris Butler. My favorite Christmas carol, if we call it that of all time, is Christmas Rapper. I absolutely adore that song. And my favorite TV show for me is, of course, with Square Pegs. He wrote the theme song for that. Yes. I'm showing my age here and my Square Pegness. He lived in New York for several years. He was sort of doing the commute between Akron and the big city, the city. But he decided to stay here with us. Currently, Chris is 1/5 of half Cleveland. I'll let you guys figure out the math there. It's sort of a 21st century band project made up of members of Tim Huey. If you're in attendance, please applaud yourself. Unit 5, there you go. And the May Company, which of course includes David Gibbons. He was in the beginning of this project. And so after 10 years of making this commute, Chris has vowed to not go New York a lot, which is good for us here in Akron. He has decided to make as much music and musical and verbal noise, this is the direct quote, as possible. Let's give him a chance to prove his determination and offer him a warm welcome here at that one-time downtown Akron.
Unfortunately, I haven't been back here long enough to have a really good downtown Akron story, but I guess maybe I'll have one after I do this. I want to tell you a different story, if I could be so bold. Let me first play you something, okay? Can you hear me okay? So, let me play that again. All right, that's enough. Stop. Hey, okay, that's the intro to Christmas Rapping by The Waitresses, the band I was in the 80s, and that's me playing that guitar. And this holiday season it'll be 34 years since the song was first recorded and released. The guitar I'm playing on that song is a 1960s era Robin Z Blue teardrop-shaped Mark 6 electric guitar, and that's the only time I ever recorded anything with it. I stole that guitar back in 1987. This is the story of how I got it back, or how I think I got my guitar back. There was an unwritten rule among musicians that you don't sell your gear. If a guitar, an amp, a snare drum, a sax, a keyboard has found its way to you, if you've had some kind of joy with it, if it's become part of your very being, well, that's cosmic. And it's as if it picked you. And in an enterprise as brutal, luck-dependent, and demoralizing as trying to play music for a living, you don't mess with cosmic, do you? Of course, that rule bumps up against the reality of needing money. Money for down payment on a house, money for grad school tuition, money for just living. Or maybe the issue isn't money at all, but instead, you've hit that frustration point where the dream is over, and you just want out. And the thousands of dollars worth of equipment you've got lying around idle just reminds you at best of how complex an adult your life is becoming, or at worst, how miserably you failed. Well, I hit that frustration point in 1987. And against the unwritten rule, I loaded all my guitars and amps into my lowest self-esteem mobile, drove to the musician shop in Manhattan run by my friends, Mojo Guitars. My friends are Peter Cohen and Chris Cush, and asked them that horrible question. What can you give me for all this stuff? Almost immediately I got seller's regret, especially for that Vox guitar, the one that Patty Donahue, the waitress at our singer, had nicknamed Baby Blue. You might remember the name Vox, V-O-X, on the amplifiers used by the Beatles and lined the back stage of almost every other British invasion band in the 1960s. Well, they also made guitars and basses. The most famous use of a Vox teardrop-shaped guitar, in fact, the original prototype of this model is by Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones, playing the signature riff on the song The Last Time. Okay, that's Jones playing that on the teardrop prototype. But Jones had also asked Vox to build a bass guitar out of cast iron. So the rock there actually killed him, it already started to settle in. But the image of Jones then in pictures and on film clips and on TV of him playing this teardrop guitar was really visibly stunning. So Vox put the guitar into production. The first batch of 10, maybe this is TLI, I think it's interesting. The first batch of 10 or so was handmade in England and were all painted white and are rare collector's items. But the mass-produced versions were built by a company called Echo in Renati, Italy. My guitar was of the Italian ones. I think I paid my pal Randy Hudson $75 in 1980 for it, which was fair because it was not the world's greatest instrument. The pickups were weak and tinny, which means they sounded like cheap microphones, toy microphones, and the neck was like a baseball bat. But it was something that I could use to give myself a little stage presence, and Lord knows I needed a lot of help in that area. But then the waitresses fell apart, and I didn't need stage presence. I didn't need the guitar. In fact, I didn't need or want anything to do with the music business, period. So in 1987, I sold the guitar, but I stayed friends with Chris and Peter from the instrument shop. And so I was able to keep track of Baby Blue's whereabouts. The guitar ended up in Brussels, Belgium, now owned by a woman named Christine Mars. I know these are small, I wish I could project them, but I could pass them around later. There's Christine and there's the blue guitar. And the years passed, as they always do in stories like this. My life settled into the thin gruel of a normal, non-musical existence. And in my worst moments of regret, though, I imagined Baby Blue out there somewhere, being strung, plucked, and figured by this stranger. Then in the spring 2006, great news. Christine had contacted Peter and told him she was thinking of selling the guitar. But not just to anyone, only to someone who would appreciate the guitar's specialness. Peter calls me and asks do I want it back. Do I want it back? Yeah, I want it back. A few days after I bought my airplane ticket to Belgium, and just before my flight, Peter calls again and drops a caveat emptor bomb on me, because he says, it seems there had been 2 Robin's Egg Blue Vox teardrop guitars at the shop the day Christine had bought hers. Kind of tiny, but it's a promotional shop for Chris's band and Peter's band with 2 Vox Baby Blue, Robin's Egg Blue guitars. Now, that's horrible. I'll leave the story in and of herself. But anyway, one guitar went to Chris Cush's girlfriend, Arlene, and the other went to Belgium. Peter was not sure which was which. This color is stupid rare, by the way. And the 2 blue guitars had consecutive serial numbers, which means quite possibly they've even been made and painted on the same day in Italy. Peter and Chris were and are very heavy vintage guitar traders. So they were hooked in around shops around the world, dealers around the world, and no one had ever seen two baby blue box guitars, Robinson blue box guitars. In fact, they hadn't even seen any. So these are stupid rare. So the guitar, there is a guitar in Belgium that's for sale that might or might not be my guitar, but it's too late because I had already bought my ticket. So on a cold and rainy night, New York City, a week before Christmas of 2006, I set out to go to Europe to reclaim my or a blue cool guitar. So I'm on the plane, budget night flight, real budget night flight, which means I'll be fried, jet lagged, fuzzy for days after arriving. My mind is racing. This is ridiculous. There's only a 50-50 chance that it actually is my guitar. It's not, it's just a fool's errand, and I'm not willing enough to blow a fat sum on a whim like this, but here I am doing it anyway. It may not even be my guitar. Do I remember anything at all about it? No. How the fuck would I know it's my guitar or not? I should really mark all my musical gear now, but I didn't back then. And when I had it, the tremolo bar was busted off, and the picture that Christina sent me clearly, and also that picture, the bar had been replaced by a spare. It's just not my, it can't be my, it is, I don't know. It's, fortuitous things don't happen to me like that. And it's not like I was looking for my lost youth or trying to recapture some shining moment in my past. FYI, the whole waitress's experience was actually pretty miserable. And why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because there's a 50-50 chance that it is my goddamn guitar. So 6 hours later, I'm just sitting at a Belgian bistro face to face with Baby Blue's adopted mom. And Christine tells me she had always been shy and thought that playing guitar in a band would allow her to overcome her social insecurities. And when she and her band had played in New York, she shared the bill with Peter and Chris's band, the Headless Horseman. So once again, in fact, these guitars were so stupid rare that they used them on our album cover and in their promo shots. All right, so she played with the Headless Horseman, but her cheap copy with Stratocaster guitar couldn't stay in tune. They said, come down to the shop. Come down to the shop and fix it up or whatever. And of course, she walks in and she sees this blue guitar on the wall, and it's love at first sight. And she recorded many songs with the guitar. Her garage band in Belgium had a respectable following in the European punk circuit, festival circuit. And I heard her records, and she was pretty good. But her circumstances had changed, and the guitar was a symbol of a past life. We walked through the streets of old Europe to Christy's apartment. By the way, it's in Melbourne Beach, which is in the news right now. Right? Well, that's what supposedly Paris. A cup of tea, I agree, solves the moment of truth for a bit. I admit I'm nervous, but finally, we go outside. Finally, puts the guitar case in my lap. Snap, and click. And okay, so there's no celestial choir. There's no aha moment. There's no, I don't know if this is my guitar. But I bought it, right? On the plane back. 7 hours this time with the whirlies, churning ruminations. We landed JFK. We're off night. I try to be invisible As I walk down that hall, I don't know if you've ever gotten off a plane at JFK or any overseas flight. There's this hallway, you got all these customs people give you the hairy eye, right? So I'm walking through there, and I'm trying to be invisible, and this one guy pulls me over, right? Pulls me over. And he says, "What's that?" I go, "It's an electric guitar." He says, "Is it yours?" I say, "Well, sir, that's sort of a complicated question." "Don't be a smart ass," grumps at me. "Is this your guitar?" Well, I show him the receipt. Christian had written in her neat, precise European educated cursor. That'll be $43.67. Import duty, son. Now, this is about the time, this is Christmas time. Now, what do I do with Christmas time? It's like I'm showing a Christmas story around here, which is, like a Elizabeth Street. So that's what I show the miracle of 34th Street. And I would like for you all to remember, we find the scene in Miracle of 34th Street, which is a courtroom scene, when the lead character of the lawyer proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that this criminal character on trial is in fact the real Santa Claus, because after all my doubts, that settles the question of ownership in the same way, because by paying that duty, the United States Customs Service, an agency of the federal government, that's the line of the movie,